Finally got this shit to work. um, um, Going into this trade, I made 480, I think, from what I remember. Um, uh, don't really remember how this trade went. I just got to look at it real quick. Now I remember. All right, so looking at this stock, uh, I think I made one mistake in this, but let me review it real quick and explain everything, and then I will explain it to you. So, yeah, I remember it now. I was looking at the flow. It was ranging from 20 million to that almost 25.5 million. Um, and then I remember looking at the news. Yes, I remember it got awarded a contract with Shell's um, gas station, and then the SEC filings. Don't remember if there was any offerings there, but let me look real quick. Um, I think I gotta double check to see if they actually posted news on that day. Um, if they didn't, then it can be just like a pump up news. So on April 18th, um, was notified by the SEC telling that had no time had not timely filed the 10K. And then on April 22nd, announced that they received a letter from the. Okay, so this news does not correlate with this one right here, which was 2 days ago. Um, they announced news today stating that um, they didn't, they announced news today that they did not uh, put out their 10K on time. But at the time that I was trading, which was 2 days ago, they didn't put any 8K out here, so I wasn't really feeling that. Whenever I see a company, and this is just based off of my, excuse me, my judgment, but when they don't put out an 8K, the news is either not that relevant, or um, it's just a quick pump up news. Then what got me more was the yearly chart. That really was like um, something that really caught my attention. So on the yearly chart, you see these one and done trades where the stock will spike and come right back down. Spike. This one spiked what 2 days, but spiked and came right back down. And then you can see a little one right here, another spike and come right back down. Um, this one spiked, but came down in a few days. But spike, come back down, spike, come back down. Major dump. So you know they're dumping shares. You can tell that the stock is being manipulated. This is spiked, but came back down the next day. And then this right here, um, go to like a 3 month chart. Right here, you see this big gap right here, which I didn't like. And then the day that I traded it, it spiked. I expected this to come right back down, and as you can see, the next 2 days is down. Um, I would expect it to be down a lot today, especially since, and I didn't even know this, but they announced that they were late on their 10K. I think the 10K is the yearly report, and they're late on it. So you can only imagine what's going to happen next. So I don't know when they announced this news, but You seen there all day it was just dropping. But let's go into how I performed on this stock. Um, but the way I performed on this stock, it was spiking pre-market. I made my mistake. I think my main mistake and my only mistake was that the float was pretty high, and I got in. The float was 25 mil, and I got in um, pre-market, and that my new rule for myself is I'm not getting into any stocks pre-market unless it has a under 5 million flow or under, or you can tell that it may have a 5 million, it may have a high flow, but excuse me, you can tell like majority of the float is being held by someone else, and the stock is moving large percentages. Um, and even with that idea, there's no like criteria to it, but like I gotta be really selective with that as well. Getting in, even though it has a higher float, getting in the pre-market, even though it has a higher float, and it just looks good. I gotta be real selective with that. Um, but yeah, this is where I broke my rule by not um, by getting into a stock pre-market. It wasn't a low float, but I saw it was spiking, and I chased it. I ain't gonna lie, I did chase it, and guess what? I got in damn near top of where it was um, spiking or going up, and then it pulled back, and I was underwater this whole trade. My average, um, my average was what 76, 77 when I got in. So I'm down. I was down what 5, 6 cents on this trade, and an unnecessary and an unnecessary uh, trade to be down on because uh, um, it's just the fact that uh, um, it just wasn't necessary. Um, Sorry, my arm is hurting. It just wasn't necessary for me to be trading this. Uh, and you know, when the pre-market stocks when they spike or when they're pushing up, they're gonna have pullbacks. And I wasn't patient enough to wait for the pullback. And I told myself I need to start adding or getting into trades closer to VWAP. And that's exactly what I could have had, but I chose to chase. Um, but I was wise enough to get in with about less $5,000 or less. Um, just trading a small portion of my account, not going full size. Um, 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 and I'm always trying to aim to be over 1,000. Well, for instance, for this stock, I shouldn't have been trading anything under a penny, but I'm always looking to be over 1,000 shares if the stock is over $1, because I don't want to wait. Because I always think to myself, if a stock is if I make $1 per share, I don't, I want to be able to make over $1,000 within $1. I don't want to be in a situation where I gotta make over $1 just to make $1,000 because I'm thinking $1,000 keeps the real job away, but I'm not always aiming for um $1,000. So I'm not always aiming for $1 per share on every stock that I trade. Um, but if this was a higher price penny stock, um, or like an actual penny stock, or I don't say actual penny stock, but near $5 or somewhere around $5, over $1, that's what I would have done. But basically, um, I know that under a penny is really like 1,000 a share. I mean, 10,000 to be equivalent to 1,000 a share per over $1. But I just didn't want to get in that size, get that kind of size. But it pulled back, and I was really frustrated. And it went under VWAP, and my risk was, I think it was right here, or I just went in without even thinking about my risk, or maybe it was VWAP. But I just watched it, and I also had in mind that I'm gonna wait till market open to see how it reacts. When I'm trading pre-market, it's not only pre-market VWAP or some kind of support in pre-market that I'm playing off of, uh, because if I get into a low float stock, um, going off of like pre-market support or VWAP, those are not real support levels, but they're psychological support levels to risk off of. But if I'm if I'm in a low float pre-market, then I'm expecting it to spike market open. So that's why I get in pre-market just to get in early and let the crowd push me up instead of getting in. And I'm starting to realize like my entries are damn near the same as market open, but it's just harder to get in market open. So I'd rather get in before market open. But um so I got in, chased it a little bit. Then I'm just frustrated the whole time. Upset with myself because I uh I didn't follow my rules. But it went under VWAP, came back and was kind of like hovering around VWAP, and I remembered and been learning that stocks are not perfect. They're when they get to VWAP, they're not going to be perfect around VWAP. They can stay above or under or at VWAP and just hover around it. So it's not always where it's gonna just hit VWAP and you just get out. You want to be a convinced failure on VWAP for me to get out. I'm not sure if it broke the support level 70. Yeah, it did break it, but like I said, I wanted to be convinced that it's failing, and then it pushed up. It pushed right back up, but it didn't push past this high right here of 78.7810. It didn't push past it, so I was thinking maybe this is gonna fail, and um, surprisingly, market open it started failing, and uh, I really didn't like this. Um, it started failing, and it hit VWAP. Then I was looking, and I'm like, um, it's not breaking this low. It hit VWAP, but it's still holding. And I didn't see this honestly, where it broke lower day, but it failed, and then it started rebounding, and it was the second minute of the day open, so I was just sitting there waiting to see what it was gonna do, giving it time and waiting for it to give me a sure sign that it's gonna fail. But I also kept in mind that um, if this is to fail, if this is to go up, get out immediately because, um, like I said in the yearly chart, these one and done stocks. They're gonna fail. Um, you've seen it multiple times. It failed multiple times, so that's my mindset on it. So I just was really waiting, and I was really frustrated, and my adrenaline was pumping and shit. But I was just waiting to see what it was gonna do, and um, it broke. It started spiking when it bounced immediately from this panic right here. Then I was like, okay, then I just got to give this some time and see what it's gonna do. And when it broke this level, and then it broke this level, I'm like, okay, maybe this can spike. I can let this run. And it spiked again, and I was up. Remember, I wasn't in much, but my risk I didn't like it because I was up too high. I was in too high. If my risk was like if I was my entry was here, then I would probably take out all my get out. Excuse me, into this first spike. But when it spiked and I was only up 200, I was just like not taking it that seriously. Well, I won't say not that seriously, but I was expecting more. And when it spiked, I should have taken my gains right here, but I'm like, this looks like it can go more. And the gains weren't much, but really my entry was bad, which made the gains bad as well. It was still gains, but it's not what it's not what it could have been. And it spiked, and I'm like, I need to get out on the first spike. I told myself that I need to do that, and I really didn't. And it spiked, and then came right back down. I was like, fuck, you should have gotten out. But I'm just like, this looks like it can keep going. It looks like it wants to keep going. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is gonna go to the moon, and that stupid mindset. And I had to not fight it off, but just not let it influence my trading. And I just waited, and I had to come to a conclusion where I said, okay, I'm up 200 or close to 200. If I wait it out, I can just get out at my average. It was about 66, 60, 76, 77. So I can either get out of my average or wait for another spike and see if it's gonna give me a chance to get out with some time, and I just get out. So I waited and I waited. It was consolidating right here for just a couple minutes. Caught, got a breather. I did this flag pull, and then I'm like, okay, if it breaks right here, I want out. And I'm like, I had to ask myself, where do you want out? I said, I don't know. I want to just get out with a decent amount. I can't really decide how much I want to get out, but I want to see how far it's going to go, and then I'll get out. And surprisingly, I set my order to get out at 82, but I'm like, I feel like I can go past 82. Why get out? Why wait for it to break out past 82 just to get out at 82? I should wait and let it spike. And I did, and it spiked, and it actually went a little bit higher than what I expected. And it went to 84.14, and I was like, okay, I want out. And then it dropped right back down, and I was like, fuck, I missed my chance to get out. And I'm like, you know what I said, what you, Sonny, you know what you said before you got into this trade to get out on the first spike because this shit's gonna spike and then just drop right back down. So I kind of was in a. This was just a really quick situation, and I didn't really know what to do at this point because I'm like, it keeps spiking in, and before I can even enter my order, it's just dropping right back down. So I just said fuck it, and I threw in my order um, to I threw in my order to get out at like I think yeah, where does it say 83.98? I just clicked close to the highs, and I'm like, okay, I'll get out. And I just sat there and I waited. I'm like, let's see if it pushes even higher, and it didn't actually, and it just went up to 84. And luckily, I entered my order a few point 0.0000 lower, 4 zeros lower, and my order got executed. Excuse me, and my order just dropped, and then stock I got out for a 400 an $80 gain. It was really 400. I think 18. I don't even know. My commissions are just fucking ridiculous. I'm going to transfer to E-Trade very soon. Um, but um, I got out, and once I got out, it was a wrap. Um, well, yeah, once I got out, it was a wrap, and then it started just dumping. I left it alone. I walked away for a little bit just to like clear my mind and really just think about what just happened. And sometimes I don't always like to stare at the computer all day watching the markets because I feel like I'm just repeating myself every single day. And once I got out, I just watched it, looking at it from with one eye, just watched that shit dump, and I realized, wow, I was fucking so right on this stock. This shit just dumped, like literally just fucking dumped. And whoever was shorting this, if anybody was shorting this, I mean, perfect trade, uh, perfect short, you know, and it just fucking dumped. And I got lucky. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got fucking lucky trading this stock because, um, I had the right mindset. I didn't have the best executions, even when I sold. Yes, I sold near top, right near top, but I could have missed it easily. But it dumped and it dumped again, and then um, when it broke this point, and I thought it would do a 945 dip and rip, which it didn't. But I stopped watching it after it broke. It didn't do this dip and rip, but it had a fucking major bounce afterwards. Um, this shit bounced really nicely from the 50s to what, the 77s from what I remember, a 33% bounce right here. I mean, this was fucking beautiful. Um, and I was like, shit, that would have been a perfect opportunity to trade it. This right here was way better than my trade uh, right here. Uh, I mean, my entries, I don't know where I would have entered. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I doubt I would have believed that it would bounce. And then after all this fucking downtrend, um, here, I doubt I would have been like, okay, this is exactly where it's gonna bounce. I probably would have played it right here or somewhere here, like up here. But this was just beautiful. This would have scared me out. This would have scared me out. But I don't know. I couldn't even trade this, but it was beautiful. But and then I asked myself, was there an opportunity as I was watching it towards the close and stuff? I asked myself, was there an opportunity to trade this stock? It's very choppy, honestly, and it was chopping, 10 cent range. The range was 10 cent, which is great, but um, I really didn't like this choppiness, and I probably wouldn't have traded it. And I'm glad I didn't even touch it, or I probably couldn't even touch it. But I'm glad that if I had the ability to touch it, I didn't. So yeah, but they reported horrible news today that they're late on their yearly filings and they're down now. But overall, this was a good trade. $418. Excuse me. I got to switch to a new broker because just this week I probably paid over. This one says 500 160. I probably paid $200 commissions. So it's like yuck, like ew, like bitch, I can't be doing that shit. Um, that's just too expensive. E-Trade is zero commissions. I don't know how much is the market data, the real time level, the real time data, but I mean that's much better than I'm paying $5 in real time data for Interactive. I'd rather just go with Interactive Brokers and trade on E-Trade, but we'll see. I'm preparing myself. We'll see. That's it.